directive principles of state policy.
Next slide. So the directive principles are classified into 3 different categories.
Yes.
Principles
So let us see
promoting
the
economic activity. Yeah. Gandhian principles and general principles. Now we are going to learn more about principles promoting economic equality. Whose slide is this?
Zayan.
Okay, where is he? Is he there?
He was there, now is not.
Okay, fine.
Ma'am, so I will only
Principles
speak.
promoting economic equality. The principles promoting economic equality are: number 1, okay, equal distribution of wealth and resources among everyone, providing adequate means of earning a livelihood, equal pay for working without gender discrimination, ensuring a decent standard of living, fair working conditions and opportunities for various activities, protecting the health of the working people, workers representing themselves in the management of factories, and provide assistance to the old, sick, and disabled citizens, protect children from exploitation, protect and improve the environment, and safeguard forests. So these all principles come under principles promoting economic equality. Next. Gandhian principle, the spelling is wrong. Who had prepared this slide?
Ma'am, I had only prepared it.
Yeah,
These
can you?
principles are known as Gandhian principles, as Mahatma Gandhi, and he only started these principles.
These principles are called as Gandhian principles because it was Mahatma Gandhi who had laid down these principles. Be little slow. Don't go on to the next slide until I tell you. All right. So now Gandhian principle, the spelling is wrong. Kindly make the changes. Number 1, setting up and promotion of cottage industry. Number 2, provide equal opportunities, wages and facilities to all individuals. Number 3, help in maintaining the health and nutrition of the people. Number 4, providing free and compulsory education for the children up to the age of 14 years. Number 5, prohibit the consumption of alcohol and other drugs. 6, promote the needs for education among the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other weaker sections of the society. Number 7, prohibit the slaughter of cows and other cattle. Number 8, establish village panchayats. Okay, so these are almost 8. These are all 8 Gandhian principles which you need to remember. All right, next. General principles. I think, Mishti, this is your slide.
Ma'am, but actually I did something else.
Okay, general principles. Those principles without which no legal system can function at all can be referred as general principles. Now let us see more detail. What are general principles? Next. Okay, general principles are encouraging international peace and security, protect and improve the environment. Third, free legal aid for the needy. Fourth, safeguard all national monuments, places, objects having national importance. And fifth, diplomatic and respectable relations with other countries. So these are 5 general principles, okay, which are included in the general principle category. All right. So now see these 3 categories, we had seen the list of principles included. So as in your exams, you might, as you have already seen in the course book answers, they gave you a problem, they gave you, and they asked you to identify which category that particular problem belongs to, and then to give the solution. So you will be able to identify only if you know which category that particular principle belongs to. All right?
The difference between directive principles and fundamental rights. Directive principles of the Indian Constitution are the guidelines to be followed by the government while framing policies, whereas the basic rights that are guaranteed to Indian citizens by the Constitution of India are known as fundamental rights. The welfare of each and every citizen is promoted through fundamental rights. The welfare of the entire community is fostered with the help of directive principles. Fundamental rights are justiciable, as they can be enforced legally by the courts if there is a violation. Directive principles are non-justiciable, as they cannot be enforced by the courts if there is a violation.
So, first question over here is, can a directive principle of state policy be implemented? If it is it feasible or practical? Now, you all know what principles are included in directive principle. What do you think, children? Can we implement them?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
We can
Okay.
implement. It is
Yes,
implemented
we
for
can
years.
implement. But is it feasible and practical? Can we force them?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am. We
Why
can't force
we
it.
cannot force them? Why we cannot force directive principles of state policy?
Ma'am, because people are of different cultures and they follow
Right.
different traditions, so we can't force them to follow
Right,
rules
right,
and
right. And it is not at all, it cannot be enforced by law. Okay, if anybody doesn't follow, if they are violating, so they cannot be punished at all. All right, let me read it for you. Most of the directive principles of state policy have already been implemented over the years. So that means we can implement the directive policies. However, they are not enforceable by the court of law. Therefore, they are called as non-justiciable. Okay, if anybody is violating, we cannot punish that particular person. Okay, a law may be declared invalid if it violates any fundamental rights, but a law violating any of the directive principles cannot be declared as invalid. However, this does not imply that directive principles cannot be implemented. Okay, so if anybody is not following it, we cannot force them. Okay, we cannot put them in or drag them to court, but that doesn't mean that we cannot implement it. We can implement. All right, now what are the hurdles, or you can say obstacles would one have to face? What do you think? What obstacles would one have to face for directive principles? Since the directive principles are non-justiciable, that means enforcing them for the benefit of the state may pose a problem. They may not be considered priority, or some may take more time, more importance than others. Okay, so see, as rightly said by Mishti, she just gave an answer. We have different people living in our country, right, following different religion, caste, culture. So we cannot impose anything on the people, all right, on the citizens living here. Got it, everyone? Have you all understood question 3 and 4?
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right, good, very good. Now
Yes, ma'am.
let's understand further. think of the following two stances regarding directive principles of state policy, add points for discussion, and debate or provide concrete examples for the subsequent class. Okay, so now they have given you two different examples. Okay, we can either discuss, have a debate on, and we can give examples to justify our answer. First is a dream. These are ideal principles that a state must be governed by, but imposing some or all of them may not be a reality. Okay, dream is what? That okay, that the state government must follow, but we cannot impose the dreams on every Indian citizens, okay, in reality, in practical life. But what about reality? These principles are difficult to implement since being non-justiciable. They may not be considered important by the state government itself. Okay, so reality is what? That maybe, you know, the state government itself is not giving too much importance to that particular principle. That is the reason it is non-justiciable. Pradyumna, adjust your camera. Having learned about various categories of directive principles, analyze whether these are feasible to implement in state. Ask your parents and elders to help you cite examples to prove that these principles can be worked out, therefore a reality, or certain principles may not be able to, you know, implement, and therefore it will be a dream. Now we have the list of directive principles, children. I hope you understood the activity. We all have the list of directive principles. Now go through the list and, you know, discuss. We'll have a discussion to differentiate, to categorize that which particular directive principle we can implement and which particular directive principle will just be a dream. All right, so we are going to differentiate among the list given to us, the list of directive principles. Got it? Would you like to do it now, or you want to do it for homework, children? Homework? Okay, then we'll do the discussion tomorrow. All right, whatever directive principles we have, you all are going to classify them, that which this particular directive principle can be implemented, can be, you know, practically brought into the life of the people. But this particular any other description principle, if you find okay, this is there, but this we cannot implement in reality, so that particular principle will come under which category? Dreams category. So we'll classify into dream and reality. I hope you understood the activity.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's understand. Yeah, that's what it is. See, session 4, students are engaged in class discussion of directive principles of state policy, a dream or a reality. This is the activity. Okay, now see, they have given you the list. They have bifurcated, in fact, in 3 different categories, all the principles. Can you see? What are economic principles, what are Gandhian principles, or you can also call it as social principles, and what are general principles. And they have made a list that these are the principles which can be followed or implemented, and these are the list which can just be considered into a dream. All right, just scroll down. Mishti. Okay, that's it. Got it? Can you see the bifurcation is already been done over here? But I want you all to do it yourself. Then we can have a discussion tomorrow. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. So please make sure that you all complete the question answers in your classwork notebook. I hope by now everybody has prepared their term 2 notebooks. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you all started writing yesterday?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good, good. So please complete this particular chapter as well. Now the next